to PalaceFanTV. I'm Jay from eaglesbeat.com. I'm joined here by Steve from Aston Villa Review podcast to preview the game with Aston Villa at Selhurst Park on Saturday. Hi Steve, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So we've had 2 games in the Premier League already for each of our sides. How have you done?
I think as expected, really. We had 2 really difficult games to open with. Obviously Bournemouth on the opening day, new to the Premier League. Don't know how long they're going to be there, so they were going to go at us, and they did, to be fair. But luckily we came through it, and then we haven't beaten Man United at home for 20 years, so why change the habit of a lifetime?
Yeah. So you had the first Friday night game for the Premier League. How did you find that?
It was weird. I mean, it was nice because it gives you something to look forward to at work. You don't have to wait another 24 hours, but it's not something I condone on a regular basis, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a bit similar to a Monday night game. It's a bit
exactly.
Isn't it? Yeah. So Villa seem to have adopted a very similar attitude to Pardew in that recruiting players from France. How have you found the new signings you've made?
I think Jordan Amavi has been just pure class, and he's shown straight away that he's taken to the Premier League very easily, and I can't see him being at the club long if he carries on playing like that. I probably shouldn't really say that because we want to keep hold of him, but he's been fantastic. Idrissa Gueye, or Ghana as he prefers to be called, has been, there's a player there, there's a very good player there. He's taken to it quite well, but I still think it's going to take a bit of time for him to get up to speed properly. Sure. But his quality is there, and Jordan Vera too as well. I think he's the slowest of the 3, and it's going to take him a while for us to see what he can really bring.
Yeah, you've had a bit of upheaval in the summer with 2 big names leaving, and you had a few players come in. Do you think it's going to take long for them to gel, and will you miss the likes of Benteke and Delph?
Obviously, we'll miss Christian Benteke. Yeah. I think the guy's world class, and he's going to prove that at Liverpool, unfortunately. Yeah. The other guy, not so much. But I think one of the things that's frustrating for us as Villa fans at the moment is that everyone's tipping the team for relegation because we've lost these 2 players. When we broke even on what we brought in, and we spread the quality a bit further out in the squad. Yeah. We've sort of got competition in all places now, and I think for the past 3 years, as great as he was, we relied too much on Benteke to sort of get us out of a jam, and I don't think we can carry on playing like that. So, obviously it is a blow to lose guys like that, but I'm pretty confident in what we've brought in. We'll be able to, we're not going to be pushing for Europe, I don't think, but at least we can look at sort of mid-table and not have to worry about being in a scrap.
Yeah. So you think it's going to be more of a team effort rather than relying on individual players to get you through games and get results?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, there's plenty of competition for places now, and some of the players we brought in, like Adama Traore, for example, is just fantastic, and I can't believe we've actually got him. And then there's guys like Carlos Hill who came in January, but because we were in a relegation battle, didn't get much game time. And then there's Jack Grealish as well, who's a big year's expected of him. And I think you've got 3 guys like that behind the strikers. Gabriel Bonlahor, who he's not prolific anymore, but he can come up in a crunch.
Definitely. And
Jordan Ayew, who's a bit of a live wire, and Rudy Gestede, who we saw against Bournemouth.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we can feel a bit better about spreading the goals around rather than it just coming through one stream.
Yeah, I thought for me, watching Aston Villa so far this season, you look more of a team than you did last season. Don't know if there's anything to do with, a good start for the new players to come in and join. So, Palace have had a lot of transfers as well. What do you make of our business in the summer? I mean, we're quite impressed with what we've done. What's the view from an opposition fan?
Well, I think obviously everybody's a little bit envious of Yohan Cabaye and how you managed to swing that one.
Yeah.
But that's a fantastic signing for anybody in the Premier League. Yeah. Arsenal were linked with him earlier in the summer as well. Yeah. As well, you have just spent 10 million on Connor Wickham. I don't think he's a terrible player, but it's not someone that's going to strike fear into opposition hearts, I don't think. And you got the guy from Wolves as well, didn't you?
Saka. Yeah, Bakary Saka, yeah.
And he could be quite good, I think. Yeah. He's looked really good at Wolves, and I think there's players in the Championship who are capable of taking the step up.
Definitely.
only there's a stigma to it because they're coming from a lower division, and fair play for giving him the chance. I think.
I do still like that, because Palace always used to do that in years gone by, go and get players from the lower leagues and bring them into the higher divisions to it seems to be a bit more about them to want to succeed at that level. And still a lot of players, like you say, in the lower divisions. You've got Castede, who we were linked with a few times last season as well, because we were looking for a striker, and now we've got Wickham. But I think the thing with Wickham is he's 20, he's still only 22. It seems really bizarre that he's still that young. So hopefully if we play him in the right position as the main man up front, unlike Sunderland did, we might be able to get something out of him.
Yeah, if you can get that, you kind of hope that Cabaye is going to be the direct route for it.
Quality, yeah, definitely, yeah. So what were before the season started, what were your kind of hopes and dreams for the season ahead? Were you just hoping to finish above the bottom three, or were you expecting a little bit more than that?
I think really we were looking to push on a little bit. All the sort of transfer business that we've done came out of nowhere, and it's caught everybody on a bit of a blind side. Excuse me. But I think with the players that we brought in, if they can gel quickly enough and show their quality quickly enough, and as well, if Tim Sherwood really is a Premier League manager, like I said earlier, we're not going to be pushing for Europe, but I think we can be a bit more confident of not having to look over our shoulders so much. And it sort of sounds weird to say, well, our ambitions this season is mid-table mediocrity. Yeah. But when you've just had sort of 3 seasons the way, 5 seasons the way we have, you just want to pull away from the bottom. We are a big club. We do have a big fan base and a big stadium, and we do feel we're a bit better than just scrapping down at the bottom, because we've got all the necessary ingredients to not do that.
Definitely.
But the money's been reinvested. I don't think we could really ask for more than that. At the time of speaking, we got about a week or so more left in the transfer window, and I probably wouldn't be surprised to see another 1, maybe 2 faces come in.
What sort of positions do you think you need to strengthen if you're going to go for more players?
I would have said goalkeeper. I really like Brad Guzan, and I'm happy with him as our number 1, but it was so obvious last season that he needed competition, and you thought Shay Given might be the man to do that, but we've got rid of him this year, and we brought in Mark Bunn.
Is it Blackburn?
Mark Bunn.
Is it Blackburn?
Possibly. Norwich, I think.
Oh, was it Norwich?
I think it was from Norwich. But but what we've seen of him in pre-season, he's looked fairly good. He looks like he could be a good backer. And then I'd probably say another centre back. We've just lost Ron Vlaar, who, depending on who you ask, could be a big loss, or it might not be a loss at all. So I think with Richards at centre back, there is a bit of uneasiness. He's a phenomenal right back, and he's started the season at centre back, but he's shown a couple of lapses of concentration here and there in both games that sort of make you think, well, if we could bring in somebody experienced, like maybe 29, 30 years old, just to tie everybody together, that could be ideal.
So you think his position is really a right back rather than a right back playing at centre back? Is that
so.
Is that a bit obvious from what you've seen?
I think so. I mean, it's good that he can play centre back, but we've got Joris Okore coming back, who last season formed up a really good partnership with Kieran Clark, and we've got Nathan Baker as well, who's just signed a 5-year deal. So there's plenty of competition there. I think if you want to get the best out of players, you play them in their strongest positions, not necessarily where they want to play.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still the start of the season. I'm more than willing to see what he can do in a centre back position.
You mentioned the goalkeeper position is very similar to what we had at Palace. Before Hennessy came in, Speroni didn't really have the competition, and sometimes it kind of noticed in games that he was the number 1 because we didn't have anybody else challenging him. But now this season we have 3 keepers, and Pardew said as much. He wants 3 keepers there because he experienced something at Newcastle. We had an injury problem, and he wanted 3 class keepers, and we find that now. And unfortunately, Speroni's injured, so we're not going to see that for.
Would he still be number 1? Do you think?
It's a good question. I think that's still out there. I think Pardew's brought in McCarthy. He's made him his number 1 because Speroni's been out. I think a lot of fans thought that Hennessy would get the shout because he was at Palace last season.
Yeah.
But I think he's surprised a few. I think he got some criticism in the first game against Norwich, but he made 4 or 5 excellent saves against Arsenal, so he kind of redeemed himself a little bit. Particularly to those fans that were critical, but I mean, wasn't everybody.
Well, I'm a big fan of Wayne Hennessy because I'm a Wales fan,
right?
And he's been fantastic in qualifying so far. And you watch him and you think, I cannot believe he's a number 2 and he's not playing regularly, because it doesn't show. And I mean, you've probably seen more than I do, as a Palace fan, but I just find it insane that he doesn't play very often.
I think his big thing for us is we notice a lot when he played last season instead of Spurring, his distribution is fantastic. He's got a big kick on him, he throws out a long way, and that's something Spurring doesn't have.
Yeah.
He's a good shot stopper, a good goalkeeper, but his distribution lets him down a little bit. And I've got a feeling it's going to be his last season at Palace anyway, Spurring. So going forward, if we can hold on to Hennessy. And obviously McCarthy's going to be, a little bit ahead of him. We're going to have 2 good keepers going forward. So fingers crossed. But you alluded to your centre back situation, and we're big fans here of Kieran Clark. Actually, seeing him play a few times. Do you think this is a big season for him? What with Ron Vlaar leaving, is he going to step into the breach and really come on as we expect him to?
Well, to be honest, I'm surprised he wasn't given the armband at the start of the season. I was saying before we started rolling that Ron Vlaar probably isn't going to be that big of a miss. Looking at with hindsight of who we brought in to replace him.
That's an interesting point, because he had such a good World Cup for Ireland, and then going into the summer, a lot of questions about him, whether he was going to stay at Villa, whether he was going to go for a big move somewhere else. It didn't kind of materialise.
Well, it's just his injury record. He was missing for far too long last season, and he's got those glass knees that. I think doing him a disservice. And if he wants to move to Man United, I think he's probably dreaming now. But Kieran Clark stepped in for him big time last year and put in a lot of really good performances, and he struck up a very good partnership with Joris Okore, who's also out injured at the moment. So there was a couple of years ago, probably 2-3 seasons ago, where it looked like Clark probably wasn't going to push on, and there was a lot of hope for him when he first came into the squad when he was 19-20. And he's started to show it now, and he's really maturing, and he's looking like more of a leader as well, which is fantastic for us, because the thing I worry most about Villa is that there aren't enough big mouths, there aren't enough talkers, and that's why Ian Delph was so good, because he was noticeable and his character was massive, and I think that is probably what you miss more than someone's ability, because you can replace that.
So you're going to be at Selhurst on Saturday for the game?
Yeah.
So what predictions? What do you reckon?
I don't normally do predictions because I think it tempts fate, but I want to say 2-1 Villa, but I think 1-1 is probably a bit fairer.
Interesting one. My prediction, I'm going for a win for Palace. No disrespect to Villa, but I think we've come off.
I'd expect.
We played well against Arsenal at the weekend. I think we're unlucky to come away with a loss. And if we play a similar attacking game as we did, I think your fullbacks might find it difficult against Zaha and Balassi. But I'm looking forward to the game. It should be interesting. So good luck.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for joining us here at PalaceFanTV. Thanks for your time, Steve. And thanks everyone for watching. Please subscribe to the videos. There'll be a few more during the season, but continue to subscribe, share them on YouTube, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.